Okay, in this recording, we are going to take a look at Audacity's help. So when you're in Audacity, you choose the help menu, and you can either go to a quick help or the full manual. For this video, we're just going to go to the quick help. So you choose quick help, and it'll open up a document in your browser. You're not actually on the internet, but these are files on your computer that are meant to open up in a browser. So on the left side, you have all the using options here. You can take a tour. You can see the new features. Here's a getting started page, which is the page we see now. There are some tutorials and other tips. There's also some instructions on the graphical user interface, like the menu bar, the toolbars, so on and so forth. Then there's a section on customizing Audacity. That's where you can find out about the plugins, the toolbars, some preferences, and then we have some other reference sources. The one I'm going to focus on today is the tutorials section, which is up here. So I'm going to click on tutorials, and it takes me to this page. And there's a whole list of tutorials. It tells you about editing, your first recording, so on and so forth. Burning audio CDs, which we don't use too much anymore. But down towards the bottom are some of the more important things. Here's how to import a CD. Here's how to export to iTunes or your whatever music service you happen to be using. And down on the bottom, where here are some example workflows, let's take a look. There's one on LPs. We're going to take a look at the one on tape digitization. So I'm going to click on that. And here it goes step by step, many of the things we talked about in class. Setting your Audacity settings, checking the azimuth of the tape recorder, which we're not going to do. I would skip that one over. But we did talk about cleaning the heads and the pinch roller, retensioning the tape, setting your initial recording levels. And I want to point out something on this. If you go over to here where it says try to aim for a maximum peak amount, and then there's looks like some gibberish. That was a mistranslated code, and it should be -6. So they're saying try to aim for a maximum peak of around -6 dB or decibels. Then it tells you how to capture, so on and so forth. Removing the tape hiss, which we talked about. Then they talk about adding labels, which we might talk about. That's an option too. I would label that as optional. And fade-ins and fade-outs, which could come into play. If it's a commercial recording, you probably already have fade-ins and fade-outs already on the recording, whether it be a cassette or an LP. And how to do track names, so on and so forth. So my suggestion is you can follow along with this and do the steps that you feel comfortable doing. If you don't feel comfortable doing it or don't understand it, you can probably skip it over as long as you hit the major points that we talked about in class. So that is how you get to some of the tutorials. I'm going to go back to the tutorials page. And there is also a sample workflow for LP digitization, which we're going to focus more on in the 4th class. So that is how you go to help and navigate around the help section of Audacity.